Brad, we'll start with you.
I guess, Rachel, first thing for you, congratulations on the national championship. Just your thoughts on, again, what you did and also what's next for you with the Olympic trials.
Thoughts on what I did. Of course, I'm amazed. This is amazing. I can't, well, I do believe it, but it's just the whole journey, the whole season. It's just amazing. And then I won national championships. I'm so, wow. And then upcoming Olympic trials, very excited for that. I think it's super exciting. I'm going to be with all the other professional athletes and it's super cool. I was at practice today and it was college athletes and professional athletes there. So it was a really cool experience.
Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, Rachel, just following up on that, you kind of paused in between, like, I knew it could happen. What did you write? I heard a little bit of the conversation you had with Trent after the victory, but what did you write down ahead of the high jump competition to give you that kind of vision in your mind of what it was going to be like to win the championship? And how did you maintain that vision throughout your jumps to accomplish your goal?
Well, that morning I did tell myself in the mirror, I was like, okay, today we have to PR. If we don't PR, we're going to win. And hopefully that win is a PR. So I was like, okay, today we're going to go either 6'4" or 6'4" and up. That's what we have to do. Like, we have to. So as the bar kept going up higher and higher, I was like, okay, we're getting closer and closer. And then we finally got to the 6'4" jump. And then I was like, okay, this is it. This is the jump that we have to clear because this is what I said I'm going to do this morning. So, and then I did clear and I was like, yes. And I was so happy. And then I was like, I literally went to Coach D right away. And I was like, you saw that? I was like, you saw that? I just did that. And it was crazy.
Go ahead, Chandler.
All right, Rachel. First off, congratulations on becoming a national champion winner. Just talk to us about, you're just a freshman. Did you ever think that you would achieve this success this early in your college career?
First coming into college, no. I was just like, okay, I'm just another athlete here. I'm going to continue my season like everyone else, going to keep going. But I did not think that I would be at this high of a level. I don't want to say that I was doubting myself. I think I'm a good athlete, but this good, I was like, wow.
Go ahead, Brad.
For Malik and Ashton, obviously you guys put your name in the record books this past weekend. Where do you go from here? What's on your to-do list next to follow this up?
Malik?
Honestly, I'm just gonna continue to throw, continue to train. I didn't hit the standard for the trials or anything, but I'm just gonna try to continue to train and see where it takes me. Try to make world championships the next year and see how that goes.
Yeah, well, I will be competing at the Olympic trials, so I'm just looking to run a little bit faster times. So, continue putting that work and, seeing what could happen.
Go ahead, Joe.
For Ashton and Rachel, I'm curious, what's y'all's relationship like, both being freshmen and accomplishing so many big things in your first year and both having the opportunity to go to these trials? What has your relationship been like, and how do you, I know you guys don't run in the same circle, so to speak, but what is that relationship like, and how do you guys push each other to achieve greatness in your specific categories in track and field?
I think our relationship is really amazing, especially since we do the same events. We're both 400 hurdlers and we do up the 4x4 together. So we definitely do push each other, especially in practice. So like dying on the floor and then Ashton be like, okay, Rachel, time to get up. And if Ashton's on the floor, I'll be like, okay, girl, we got to go to the next rep. So we just balance each other out. I love our relationship.
Yeah, I think we're pretty close. And, I have a car, so I, end up driving Rachel around a lot to practice, to weights and stuff like that. So, we talk a lot. We just push each other. And she honestly just inspires me to be a better runner and just a better person because she's so jovial and just, yeah.
Go ahead, Brad.
Rachel, obviously you've had a tremendous freshman year with what you did in indoor and now in outdoor. Where does all this drive and ability come from, at such a young age? Because you're doing things that not a lot of freshmen can do. A lot of seniors can't do what you've already done. Where does this drive and ability come from, and where can you get better?
I don't want to say it's like attention seeking, but like coming out of high school, my number one goal, I was like, when I go to college, I can't be mediocre. I can't be basic, because a lot of people are really good in high school and then they go to college and then just kind of like fall off the wagon. They kind of just go into the, oh, I'm just a regular athlete. I run track here. I got a scholarship. Hey, that's cool. But I wanted to be like top tier. I want to be the best. I was like, everyone's going to know my name. Everyone's going to know who I am. I have to do this, this, and that to get there. So, yeah.
Go ahead, Joe.
Rachel, I'm curious with the high jump, just watching your fellow competitors and yourself approach and do those jumps. When does it become like that fearlessness you have to be able to trust that jump in that process? And when did you learn, and how did you get involved in the high jump in the first place? Because to me, it's a scary proposition. I couldn't imagine launching my body over a bar and expecting to come anywhere close. But when did you first fall in love with it, and how do you overcome that kind of fear to fly, so to speak?
So I did do club track ever since I was 8 years old. So I did a lot of distance running. I did 1500s, I did 800s, 400s. So one day I was at a track meet and I saw people doing high jump, and I was like, that was kind of fun. I don't know. In my head, I was a little kid, so I was like, trampoline, high jump, that looks fun. I want to jump on it. So they gave me a chance, and they're like, okay, you can try it out. I didn't really have a coach at the time. I was just like a little kid just going over the bar. I didn't really take it seriously till I was in high school, sophomore year, and I went like 5'11". And I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'm kind of good. So I just went along with that.
I'll go ahead, Chandler.
All right, this is a question for Rachel and Ashton. You guys are just freshmen once again, so just talking about what's your motivation to continue to grow, considering the fact you guys have already achieved so much this early in your careers.
Well,
Looking at
Yeah.
for me, I know there's still, more to be done. So, every day I just try to push myself a little bit harder in practice just to see, the sky's the limit. So just trying to every day get better and better. And just the time will come down, places will come up. So.
Yes. I do see a lot of great athletes now, but they are older than me, and me and Ashton as well. They're older. They're like juniors, seniors, sophomores even. That's pretty young too. But seeing that we're freshmen, I'm like, okay, they're doing all these great things, and I'm doing all these great things, and I'm only freshman, and they're like seniors. So that's saying a lot. So I'm like, by the time I'm a senior, I should be like up there. Like right now we're up there a little bit. When we're seniors, we'll be up there a lot.
Go ahead, Joe.
Malik, for you, it was wonderful watching the emotion come from you when you accomplished that big goal, when you threw the discus and you knew you had a great mark and you had a great chance to finish where you ended up finishing. What did it mean to you, and what were the emotions like knowing you achieved something that no one has ever done in Gamecock history, your fourth place finish?
Honestly, it was just all a surprise, because honestly, when I stepped inside the circle, I was just like, screw it. Like I just go and do whatever and see what happens. And I trusted God and I threw, and yeah, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Brad. Oh, did Brad have a question? Maybe not. Go ahead, Joe, again.
Got froze up
Rachel,
there.
for you. Go ahead, Brad, if you're ready.
Sorry, yeah, it got frozen for a sec. Sorry. First, Rachel, do you feel like you're a marked woman next year, or do you mostly compete with yourself? Are you more worried about your competition, or do you just compete with yourself? And then Malik, I was just curious, by any chance did your mom make it out there?
No, she didn't, but my old coach and his wife were streaming it, so they were watching all together.
For me, I do, of course, acknowledge that there are other competitors there. I'm aware of their marks. Sometimes that's only if someone like comes up to me and they're like, "Did you know such and such jump this?" And I'm like, "Oh no, I didn't." But I try and say to myself, because it does make me a little bit nervous. Like if I pay attention to everybody else, I really try to stay to myself and focus on myself when I do jump, or when I do compete, actually.
Go ahead, Joe.
Rachel, for you, what will be the key to staying composed and having that same kind of approach and mindset at the Olympic trials to try to solidify a spot in Tokyo?
Basically, I need to have the same aggression that I did when I jumped 6'4". When I was, of course, like I jump hard at the lower attempts, but not as hard. So as the bar goes higher and higher, I'm just like, if you mess up your steps, just jump hard. If you mess up a run, just jump hard. Like moral of the story, just jump hard.
Go ahead, Joe.
And Ashton, what's your approach in terms of how, in your mindset, when you're competing and for this type of opportunity?
For me, it's really like a me versus me thing. I don't really try to pay attention to what anybody else is doing, because as long as, I put forth 100% effort, that's really all I can ask of myself. And, seeing what happens.
And for all three of you, if I can jump in, what has been like this year? There's been so many unique circumstances surrounding the pandemic and training and trying to achieve all these goals. For each one of you, how do you describe the journey this year to accomplish what you ended up accomplishing, which is first team All-America finishes and a national champion among the three of you? Anyone can start first.
Yeah, go ahead, Malik. How about Malik? We'll start with you.
Oh, can you repeat the question one more time?
Yeah, if you could just describe the journey of this past year, all the unique challenges surrounding with COVID and training and trying to accomplish lofty goals. And all three of you have done that in such a unique setting and environment this past year.
Right. I would say it was initially like tough for me, I guess, starting out like in the winter season and everything. I ended up getting a concussion back in December. So then that kind of ruined what me and my coach thought would be an All-American indoor season for me, because I was already throwing distances that would end up in the top 16, but that was a huge setback for me. And it was a really bad ending for me in my indoor season. So I just made sure as soon as that indoor season was over, I made the promise that I would never feel like that again, and made the promise that I would be on top the next time I finished. And,
Ashton, go ahead next.
For me, I had COVID in like November, so that kind of threw me back training wise. So I had to work a little bit harder to get back, back right for indoor season. And I did get in shape a little bit, and then outdoor season came and we started hurdling, and everything went super well. There was a couple of meets where like I had a couple setbacks, like I had some family stuff going on in Chicago, and it messed with me a little bit, but after that I got it together and ended up doing well. So
What, Rachel?
I want to say I have the same answer as Ashton. I didn't have COVID, but I had like 4 roommates, and all 3 of them had COVID. So I had to be in quarantine just because I was in like close contact with them. So I had to be in quarantine like 4 different times. So I was out for 6 weeks, and that set me back like a lot. I had to get back up on training. I had to do extra runs, do extra weight room. I even had to do some training on my own. It was crazy. But like once I did get back, it was the transition was kind of easy, but it was just difficult because I was like set back so much. But luckily for me, I was able to get back into the rhythm of everything.
You all have such unique journeys within this pandemic. So if you don't mind, I want to follow up with each one of you individually, starting with Malik. You mentioned the concussion and having the season ripped away from you and not being able to accomplish what you wanted to, and how much that hurt. How are you able to reset the mechanism, so to speak, mentally, and overcome that tremendous disappointment with the indoor season to have such a successful outcome ultimately?
Honestly, I just started going harder. One thing I could say that I honestly took this away from Rachel, and I've done this before too, but I started doing it more, was, I prayed more, started doing more positive affirmations in the morning and everything I did before my competition last week. I also did the little Epsom salt bath that Rachel does, and that worked. And honestly, the main thing that fueled me was just my mother, and then just not wanting to feel heartbroken again and not allowing the circumstances that I was put in to ruin my future.
Talk about your mother. Everyone has a different relationship with their parents. Why does your mother mean so much to you, and why was it important to finish the way you did for your mom?
Because she is the reason why I'm here. I mean, she has literally done everything for me to be here. She has made so many sacrifices for me that I had no other choice but to do everything that I could to be able to put myself in the position that I was in.
Thank you for sharing that. Ashton, with you, you mentioned contracting COVID and then having to go through that experience. How worried were you at first when you found out you had the virus and how that could really impact your freshman? I see you smiling. So what were the worries like when you first contracted on how this might impact your freshman season?
Oh my gosh. When I got those results back and Kelsey called me that morning, I already felt really, really sick. So I was like, oh my gosh. Kelsey called me, like my stomach dropped. I was so scared because, it was November. So like we had kind of not really just gotten back on campus, but I felt like I'd only been here for a little bit and then I caught COVID. Now I didn't really know what to do. I was kind of scared. I called my mom. I know she was scared. She was actually going to come and pick me up, but I ended up staying in one of the COVID dorms. And I stayed in the dorm alone for 10 days. And that was not fun. I was sick, slept all day. And it took a lot out of me. But I think after that, I did get a little bit more motivation to, go harder, just because I felt like that was a check for me to not take anything for granted and just go out there and go harder. So that's what I did in practice, day in and day out, and it started paying off.
Hey, Ashton, quick, when it comes to indoor, obviously you got it right before we kind of got into the indoor season. When it comes to becoming the All-American indoors, was that something that you were proud of? Maybe even in the short term at the time when you said, hey, just a couple months ago, I was, laid up in bed with this virus that everyone's been talking about, but now you were an indoor All-American with the 4x4 team.
Yes. I mean, I don't want to say I expected it, but I expect a lot for myself, and becoming an indoor All-American, it was amazing, but I really, really wanted that for myself, and I worked hard for it. And, every day in my journal, I would write it down. I wrote down all my goals, and, I prayed a lot, and honestly, faith just took me there. So.
And then Rachel, with you, it seems that Malik certainly said he took a page out of your playbook doing the positive affirmations. When did you start doing that? At what age? And why is it important to you to have those type of thoughts and make sure you put that out into the universe before you compete or do anything for that matter?
I want to say I started doing it my junior year of high school. And I mean, I've always been taught this as a child. Of course, your parents, they're like, okay, you have a family meeting. Well, we had family meetings. They'd be like, okay, now repeat after me. I am great. And you're like, I am great. I'm smart. It's like when you're a kid, you're like, it's dumb. Like, why am I saying this? But then as you get older, you notice, of course, your parents are right. And they're just doing what's best for you. So I started doing that. And then, I mean, it's taken me pretty far, I believe, because I mean, I'm here, I'm national champion. I mean, it's taken me pretty far. So I think it's been working pretty well.
I love it. For me on my end, that's all I have today. I mean, you three are wonderful. I'm so happy for all three of you. You have accomplished so much, and so much more is in store for you guys in the future. And then thanks for just taking some time to talk with us today. We wish you the best of luck moving forward.
Thank you so much.
All right. I think we're all good, guys. I'll send this out to the media as well. So if anybody needs it, they'll get it. And we'll see you guys all later. Good luck at trials, Rachel and Ashton.
Bye.
Thank you.
Good luck, y'all. Congrats.